But I mean, there are dozens of cases like this. There are a lot of other cases where effectively public are barred, as people pointed out. Just yesterday, I think Mumbai Mirror has the example of Ladit Hotel. And it's very tempting. You are given possession of a plot of land, and then, which is valuable, and you will not take advantage of that. I mean, it's a very difficult thing to really imagine. Most private people will take, and my submission is, there are of course voices that have voiced something else, but I think the majority view was that we should not give away possession of our lands to private. If we do that, we'll keep losing them over the next 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, whenever it happens. Even if an NGO is good, what is the NGO's interest in maintaining? That it should be a good garden, good playground, good open space. For that, it is not necessary that they should pay money.
Yes.
I cannot imagine any one of us saying, I want something to be good, but I want to pay money also. If it's not necessary, why do we need to have any money? And the moment you take money and give possession, you are then locked in. You have no way. And I would hope that our corporates were great philanthropic people, but there is a lot of evidence to the contrary. I'm not saying everybody is bad. There are good corporates also, just as there are good NGOs, but there are also bad NGOs. So therefore, I think the risk would be too high. Question is, what can we do? Certainly, if we can persuade the Chief Minister, and the idea of this campaign is really not a centralized hierarchy. The idea of this campaign is, if I can persuade, or some of us can persuade each other, and then we are all on our own, we may link ourselves on the email. But beyond that, one is not expecting any hierarchy. The hope is that, at least I'm taking up this position, that can we, each one of us, decide that we will talk to at least 30 people in the next 2 months, either as a meeting, in groups, or even singly. Even if you meet people singly to persuade them, you have a friend, you have a neighbor, you have somebody else, and you sit with them 15 minutes, you can explain the fundamental issues to him. I think we are probably around 40 people here. I don't know.
Yes.
Fair enough.
40, 45.
Even if we are 40, each one of us contacts 30 people in the next 1 month.
Yes.
We've got 1200 people, out of whom some we can convert. And hopefully tell them, look, if you are convinced about it, please talk to another 30 people yourselves.
Yes.
And what should we say to them?
Yes.
That we see this as giving away our lands. Frankly, and you know, some people have said politicians. To me, it doesn't matter if my pocket is picked. Whether the politician picks my pocket, Dawood Ibrahim picks my pocket, or a corporate picks my pocket. I'm concerned with my loss. So I genuinely believe what we should be, instead of getting into the quagmire saying, oh, politician kharab hai. Whether politician, private, anybody, as long as I lose money, I should be concerned. I mean, any prudent person would be concerned. I don't think if your pocket is being picked, you will say, "Kaun pocket pick karta hai? Ye acha aadmi hai ki bura aadmi hai?" That's irrelevant.
No, this is because you are expecting your elected representative to be responsive to your pocket. You see, he pickpockets. That's why it is. That's why politician is being pointed.
No,
out.
in fact, I completely agree with what Ashok Rawat has said. What we need is some kind of watch. And what we are suggesting is, just as today the BMC has an adoption policy where it says we'll identify, give you thing and you will pay for it. BMC can say we will issue the tenders, we'll associate with 2 neighboring societies or neighboring associations who will monitor this, do social audit, and we'll listen to them. The assistant commissioner will sit with these people once a month or once in 2 months, and their reports will be considered as official reports submitted to BMC. If BMC does that, I agree, in some places citizens associations may also be very poor, but you have much higher hope, and these can be changed. And if you say that BMC will appoint very bad associations only, let's assume for a moment, then they will appoint very bad people to adopt. I mean, we have a government that doesn't function. and we think it will give it to somebody and then make it function. You just divide the spoils into two. So this is my submission. Yes.
I will add one thing which is implicit in what you are saying, and it certainly is in your note, and it's certainly in what you said to me on the telephone, which is that this is a crucial moment before the municipal election. This is a time when for once they may be listening. All right? And you put it in a word over the telephone. You said, tell the current cooperators, either you do this or we will work against you at election time.
Yes.
We will work against you at election time. So it is a corollary to what he's talking about. He's talking about gathering numbers. Let us by all means gather those numbers. If we say 30 of each one of us, you get 1,000 people, and those will have more. So elections in the end are about numbers. So it is just a rider to what you are saying.
Absolutely. And okay, the other thought was individually, if each one of us commits, that they will go and talk to 3 or 4 cooperators, stroke party leaders.
That's right.
And again spread the, you see, just look at it like this. Supposing you are a cooperator. Most of these cooperators will say, "Hum to party ka hisab se karega." Ask them, why are you doing this? We believe we are being cheated of our lands. Why are you doing this? Give us an explanation. And I've given some questions in that note. There may be other questions. Think of answers. If they don't answer you, which is very likely, they will say, "Hum nahi bolega kuch," or they will say, "Mera leader bolega, waisa hum karega." Record that. We have tried this successfully, reasonably successfully, during the Crawford Market campaign, which wasn't even organized in this manner. But
that's another good instance.
That was an instance where we had no organization. We didn't build any hierarchy. We had nothing. It was just that individually, people would say, "I went and met 2 cooperators." And in this case, we can say, "I met 2 cooperators or 1 cooperator." On phone or personally, I and so met him. This is what he said. We can collate all of this and start putting it before public. And I think Anil will agree, journalists need something to write about also.
So they need ready-made material.
So we can. No, I think right now a lot of media is also concerned with this issue. So we have a good position. Also, my suggestion is, amongst us, even if you meet 2 citizens or just 1 friend and you talk to him and he is convinced, "Haan, main kuch karega," report that. So let us link. Right now, time is not too long for us. My guess is even if the BMC house passes, we can still get it stalled. Ultimately, the policy doesn't mean they have to implement, we can get it rescinded. But as Jason said, let us give that threat very politely but firmly if they refuse to listen to us. Sir, a lot of us, and we are going to tell other citizens, we will make this an issue on the BMC elections, that those who give away my lands are not acceptable to me.
Yes.
You
Yes,
can't cheat
yes.
me.
That is what Alan, he has more faith in the cooperators than I have. What they will listen to is not, "Why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? I will work against you." That.
Jason is an actor and a master at voice modulation. So, okay, no, any comments on this? I mean,
I would like to add one thing. Radio, as on now, is a very powerful media.
yes.
If we approach these radio fellows, we can penetrate a huge amount
Radio.
of radios.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if somebody can get, I mean,
Yes.
no,
Yes,
I
we
know
have.
each one can try his various
Yes.
means.
We have.
Shailesg bhai,
Yes.
the point that I need to talk to 30 people. You can prepare something which I can circulate on WhatsApp.
That's right.
So, like 1,000 people
No,
can
the
be
point-
reached.
A mother document.
No,
But
do
it
that.
has to be a little short, this is too big.
Many people
Do
just
that.
forward
But
it
shorten it
without
yourself.
taking
I'm
a
saying,
on it.
look,
That is
let's
what
look
we
at it
do.
like this.
No, I think
I'll send it to you.
Shailesg bhai, if we can prepare, in a very concise manner, and if we circulate the same message, and at the end you say that this is an election matter, whatever you want to give that silent threat, if that's on the WhatsApp, so people just forward the message, they read it.
Okay,
very fast.
let me try and shorten it. Any one of you can also shorten it. I have no copyrights on
But
this.
email, Facebook campaign, Twitter campaign, all that social media does help them.
My suggestion is, if you think of it, go ahead and do it.
Shialesh bhai, Shialesh bhai,
Yeah,
one
it is
thing what?
all-
If you can circulate the one message across Mumbai,
That
rather than everyone is editing it, I think that will lose the content. That will lose it.
Select by hashtags, Twitter handles and all that matters a lot to make it viral.
Okay, let me suggest to you. I'll try and make it shorter.
Yeah.
Anyone else can also do it.
Shailesg bhai, 3 years back I had written about Defective Public Representation Act. 3 years back, pointing out the defects in that Representation Act. Politicians are not bothered about citizens because the law is defective. Now, 5 days back, that government has replied to me that Representation of People Act is just an election act. It is not to monitor post-poll activities of the elected representatives. So the point is now here, this may be some of the point, but now point is, which is the law which monitors their post-poll activities?
Naveen bhai, internationally and all the world over where democracies have functioned, it is not laws that do the work, it is citizens
We should monitor.
who are...
Agreed.
No, so
we
therefore...
don't have any instrument to monitor
Otherwise
that.
we'll get we have got lots of laws and I can quote chapter and verse to show you, which are all fantastically citizen favorable, but they don't work.
They don't work.
My suggestion is, for the moment, let's leave it at this. Okay, now, are most of you... Yes?
I remember you, me and few of us were for RTI, we were fighting. We were there at Marine Drive on the road. We conducted few workshops over there and on the road only. Like that, some, things in each neighborhood locality, we work out.
If you can do it, fine. I'm suggesting if you can hold public meetings or even meetings of 10, 20 people, fantastic. If you find that difficult, at least individually, look, talking to one person, the reason I'm saying is certainly let's do social media, let's do WhatsApp, we do all of that. But what I've realized in life is, when somebody talks to you on a one-to-one, or you go in a small group to a meeting, you are more receptive, you are, just a message on WhatsApp or an SMS message or even an email, most of us don't even read quite often.
Yes.
The majority of the people.
They are long ones.
Long ones.
Because seriously, I'm talking. We find it a waste of time. The majority of for the majority of people, this is a very good time.
No, so let's try that.
People are
We'll
spreading
do that. Yes,
It's
sir.
a very useful manner.
You can
It's a
even
very
inform
useful.
the ALMs.
I'm just
Over here,
asking
all of
you-
us have ALMs. Andheri has, Parla has, Anandiben is one part of it. They also have a WhatsApp group, right? So they can pass it on that.
Wonderful.
Which all the ALMs are connected on that.
No, let's do all of that as additional.
Network.
I'm asking for a commitment. I'm requesting a commitment that each one of us will talk to 30 people. I mean,
Yes,
and
yes.
send an email saying I have talked to these 3 people, because there is a slight need of what I call intense involvement.
Yes, and numbers.
That intense involvement and numbers comes like this. If we can get 1,000 people who are slightly intensely involved in this, I believe we have a very good chance of changing this whole story. Because these people, see, even if they don't, if this is the first year after the BMC election, I would have said this won't work. Fortunately, we are in the last year of the BMC. And everybody, all the parties are not sure of themselves. I mean, they have, but that politics is not our concern, definitely. We are only trying to see, as Jerson said, can we take advantage of that?
That's right. Shakespeare says, there is a tide in the affairs of man which taken a flood, lead to fortune.
Absolutely.
Now, the only point I'd like to make is his point. Shialesh, if you could shrink this really excellent document to one para, just the essence of that one para, and distribute it to people who will use it in all the media, in radio, in WhatsApp groups and whatever, but that will become the mother document. There is a great advantage, having spent 27 years in advertising, there's a great advantage in saying the same thing, in saying the same thing, in saying the same thing repetitively, but the same
Makes a
thing.
difference.
I am.
And now we've escaped by the skin of our teeth, because the improvements committee sent it to the general body. The general body, for their own reasons, did not consider it on the day when they should have. But any moment now, by all means, let us speak to 30 people. But for goodness sake, let one of those 30 persons be your cooperator.
Yes.
No, no, sir. I'm saying two different things. Each one of us makes a commitment that we'll speak to at least three cooperators and 30 other people. I mean, cooperators are a special breed.
Yeah, all right.
And say the same thing
Yes,
to every cooperator.
See, this is the time you meet corporators. Okay, there is a whip for every party. Don't you think this is the time we can perhaps meet the group leaders of all the party? And then, no, what I'm saying, individually you cannot, but collectively means if the tempo is created, there are many people, and then you go and meet them. And Garsan can meet Uddhav Thackeray because he is the person who is
Yes.
Because with your acting and all, he will be.
I tell my experience on this. Crawford Market, the deal had been done, and I got information through RTI and gave a calculation which showed that 1,000 crores was public loss. I was talking to various, and we were talking to various cooperators, etc., not getting anywhere. The day before it was to come up for the meeting, I went and met Shubha Rao, who was then the mayor, and explained to her. So she looked at it and said, "Your figures are right." I said, "Yes, ma'am. Can you please put it across?" She said, "Bakte." Next day, it was to come up before the house. I was going by train to attend the house and see at least how they. I suddenly get a call while I was in the train saying, Uddhav Thackeray wants to talk to you. So I said, okay. Spoke to him. And he said, are your figures right? I said, yes, sir. 100%. I said, yes, 100% they are right. So he said, okay, we will not pass it today. That day they didn't pass it. But subsequently, you remember, we all in the 99% guess is they probably realized they had got a much smaller share. So they used my figures.
Why don't you produce the figures for 1,200 acres? That will convince them.
Good.
No, we try to do that also. But I think your neighborhood watch idea, and it's a good term to use. Can you think of a good Marathi term for that also?
Yeah, we can.
There is slogan is required.
In fact, okay, can we think of naming this something?
Start.
Instead of English in Marathi or Hindi?
Yes.
Can anyone suggest a good? Marathi or Hindi? Can anyone suggest a good?
Shialesh bhai, हर एक पेपर में letters to the editor follow करता है ना, उसमें भी भेज सकते हैं ना?
Wonderful. Yes. Okay. I think letters to editor.
Good.
Shialesh bhai, we can make a small clip. Video open spaces and how they impact the human life of our future generations, which can go viral on WhatsApp. I mean, like 2,000-3,000 people, each one of us can send.
Yes.
YouTube.
What are you suggesting? What should we do?
We can make, like we have media people here. We could make a small video clip on how the open spaces are important for the city and climate and so on.
Good evening, sir.
Let there be 8 clips and videos, whichever is best.
Virtual.
And how will you use it?
On the WhatsApp?
That is good.
On WhatsApp.
WhatsApp, Facebook, Twitter.
I didn't.
I'm not very familiar with all these things.
1 lakh people can get it in 1 day. Or maybe even more. Very important.
We should all say the same thing. The same thing.
Intelligent and intellectual things, you know.
I'm saying I will make this shorter, suitable for WhatsApp, but somebody else will have to do it.
Yeah, magic.
3 of you can do it.
Magic.
Making the clip, fine. Can you make the clip? You understood the issue.
Make 3, 4.
You make.
And then
You both make. You both make.
Emotional content actually.
And okay, suggestion is in case any of you can hold public meetings of 100 people also. Events. Because that again.
Connect me with some medical input in that case.
If
when you're making the video.
Anand,
Connect with me for some medical input.
You are the power of this place.
When we went to when I was in Agni, and we asked him, we went to him asking not to put corrupt candidates. He told us they don't get elected. But if Agni supports him, he would do it. Tell him that citizens are prepared to support him now. If you can get an appointment. And then let's see if it works.
He often says dangerous and criminal things.
Yes.
But he's not a bad guy. He's a good guy.
He's a good person, but he said they don't get elected, so he said there's no alternative but to put them
Yeah,
on.
yeah, I remember
But
that.
if we can say the citizens would support him on this particular issue,
Yeah.
somebody should put this before him.
Before, who are you talking
The Buddha.
Wonderful. Please do it.
Yeah, because he said that
Buddha
because the
also.
people support him.
I think Anandini and Jerson are the most influential people right now in this.
Yeah, right.
That representation of people act is people must start looking into it. That law must be perfect.
No, I don't. I'm saying,
People must start looking into it that bogus law.
Let there be any law, but when there are people, it is the law.
If I am talking about my areas, if I say this two area will be affected, then the people in that area get better connected.
List of open spaces.
City spaces.
Okay, I'll
I
send
will
up.
send it to you, Shailesh.
No, Suno. I will send a common email to all these email IDs.
Okay.
So all of us, let us send it to that group.
Only thing is the full information on the series is quite expensive. Because it was a very, very long study and it did cost a lot. So we have to buy. But the basic information could be emailed.
No, basic information. Which areas where are the frauds?
Everywhere,
that is very important. That's very
When
important.
I get connected, if I'm talking to you, then if in your area it is affected, then you're more connected. If I
But
say
you
like
can even go to your ward office.
Who will
and
write
ask
the
them
script
Marathi man.
of the
we
clip?
have,
They
then it
give
becomes a simple thing.
These
They
people,
give it.